Hello everyone, I am the Canadian Gaming Penguin. Have you ever wanted to participate in gates in the Gold Saucer but didn't know when they started or how they worked? Then this video is for you. And if you didn't wonder those things, this video may still be for you. Right. In this episode of the Manderville Gold Saucer Guide, I will be going through each of the different gates and giving some tips for each of them. So what exactly are gates? Well, gates, or Gold Saucer active time events, are similar to fates in that they are timed events. Hence the name. Unlike fates, however, these are not combat-based events. Gates are mini-game events which reward you with MGP based on participation and successful completion. There are even achievements that can be earned for participating in gates. Currently, there are 5 different gates. These are Cliffhanger, Any Way the Wind Blows, The Slice is Right, Air Force One, and Leap of Faith. Cliffhanger and Leap of Faith each have 2 different versions. For Cliffhanger, there is the Mount Corel version, which occurs in the Round Square, while the El Colossal version occurs in the Wonder Square. For Leap of Faith, there is the Fall of Belladia, which is based on an area in eastern Thanolin near Highbridge. The other version of Leap of Faith is the Falling City of Nim, which is based on an area in Outer Lenosa, the floating city of Nim. Gates will occur 3 times every hour, Earth time, on the hour, 20 minutes past the hour, and 40 minutes past the hour. The on the hour gates may be Cliffhanger, Air Force One, A Leap of Faith. The 20 minutes past the hour gates may be Any Way the Wind Blows, The Slice is Right, and A Leap of Faith. 40 minutes past the hour gates may be Air Force One, The Slice is Right, and Leap of Faith. In order to find out which gate is currently going on or is coming up, talking to the gatekeepers will inform you. By speaking to the gatekeepers, you will also be able to teleport to the area where the gate will begin. To participate in gates, all you need to do is talk to the gate client when a gate is up. The gate client will be available for 10 minutes. Thus, you are able to participate in gates at any point during this 10-minute period. However, Any Way the Wind Blows and The Slice is Right have a 2-minute registration period at the start of the gate time period. Thus, in order to participate in these 2 gates, you must register to participate in them within the 2-minute time period. Registration is, once again, with the gate client. Another note, for the Cliffhanger gates, you are required to complete the gate within the 10-minute period, meaning while you could register to participate at 9 minutes and 59 seconds into that 10-minute amount, you would only have 1 second to complete the gate, meaning it would be pointless to participate in the gate at that point. Air Force One and Leap of Faith, both versions, are instanced gates. Thus, if you are in a queue for a duty, you will have to abandon that queue in order to participate in the Leap of Faith and Air Force One gates. Leap of Faith also has a 10-minute time limit within the instance gate, meaning not only do you have a 10-minute period to register to participate, but you also have 10 minutes within the instance to complete the gate. Now, this knowledge comes in handy for participating in Leap of Faith, which I will go over later on in this video. Now to go into more details of the gates. As I mentioned, there are 2 different versions of the Cliffhanger gate. I will be going through both of them as I do have tips for each of them. And here we have the El Colossal version of Cliffhanger gate. And we have the NPC, which will say something or other along the lines of "Save the Chocobo Chick." I'm not going to read that out. Here we are up here. We can see there are goblin bombs coming around, and we have to actually navigate our way all the way around them and make a few precarious jumps along the way. The bombs will explode after a period of time, so you definitely want to make sure you've timed when you're away from them. Whenever you're over at this point, if there is a bomb that lands here, make sure to go down that step. If you do hop up onto here just as a bomb gets there, try to hop over here as quickly as possible. Otherwise, you will fly right off. And now we just need to make our way here. If you're lucky, you can jump right there and then over. But I'm not. So I fell. Somewhat intentionally and somewhat not. Talk to the NPC again and you will start at the beginning without an additional cost to you. If you happen to fail the gate, you will basically get your MGP back. So you do at least get something, sort of. Well, you do get some practice in at any rate. So making our way back up here. You can also hop here, and then there, and then here, and then once you're here, speak with the lost hatchling, and by speak I mean actually interact with the lost hatchling. If you have a ton of people hovering over there, hit the X key on your keyboard. If you are on PC, then you will hide the names of those people, and you'll be able to click the NPC, in this case the Chocobo hatchling. Otherwise, you may find it difficult to actually do that because sometimes there are people that like to hide right over there. And while you're waiting for the gate, by the way, if you didn't know, you can hop up here and bounce around and hop around and stuff like that. Anyway, that is this gate. And here we are with the Mount Corel version of the Cliffhanger gate. With the same thing as the other one found in the Wonder Square, we still need to maneuver our way up to get to the hatchling that's way up there. And as you can see, once again, we have goblin bombs. Well, this one is a little trickier to navigate because there's a lot more turns. And we have that. Right, so I fell. As before, if you fall, just go ahead and talk to the client gate keeper right here, the gate client rather. I can speak, and I'm not going to be holding the X button down. Instead, I'm going to be turning off my UI. You can do this as well. I don't usually. Yeah. Epic fails by the penguin right now. And I have to turn my UI back on, so I'm just going to leave it on. Take 3. Not really. I'm not being patient with the timing of the bombs here, so obviously you need to be patient with these. You do have 9 minutes to complete this. And I keep messing up that jump for some reason. Probably because I'm recording. Things never go well when you're recording. And as obviously you can see, now that's the 4th attempt. You can try as many times as you want within the allotted time period. Just keep in mind, as I mentioned, you do need to be, even if you make it your way to the top, you need to finish interacting with the hatchling at the top before the gate is actually successfully completed. So up at the top. And as you can see, we finally made it past that part. Here is a little tricky again because we have the bombs and you need to cross over here. You could continue over there, or you just hop up right here. And then as you can see, there's a crowd of people, so I'm going to hold down my X button and interact with the lost hatchling. And ta-da! The gate is complete and we got 4,500 MGP. And you can make your way running down again, or, you know, just hop off, which I usually do. Mentioning that little platform right there, I don't usually hop onto it first and then over. I just go from right here to there. If you have trouble actually doing that jump, then of course hop up onto that little platform first. And that is it for the Mount Corel version of Cliffhanger. Okay, and here we are with Any Way the Wind Blows. This one doesn't require any skill or any tips. It is basically all RNG. Actually, I guess there are a few tips. Don't stand on the outside here. There will be a ring that can shoot you right out. Don't stand in the center. The odds are you will be shot out as well. I try to stand on a spot like right here, on one of these little wingy type things with the cacti. I call them wings, but I don't actually know what they are. And as you can see, obviously we're on the stage as well. I think as long as the timer is counting down, I think as long as the timer is counting down, now that you can actually see it, is if you fall off, you can still talk to the gate client to actually teleport back on here, but after it is done counting down, then you're out of luck. So step upon the main stage and test your wits against Typhon, Snorter Extraordinaire. Can you remain on the dais until time expires, or will you find yourself gone with the wind? Yeah, anyway, the wind blows. As you can see, there's snorts avoided, 0 out of 5, and the countdown, the first, well, hopefully we last longer than just one. You will see a bunch of different ones. I will stick around until you see them, because this is a very short fate, which is also why we have a 2-minute countdown before the gate actually starts. All of a sudden it's a fate. I mean, it works the same way, except you're not doing combat. And there we go. Entries for the main stage event are now closed. Those wishing to observe the show are welcome to join in the event square or whatever, which is where we are. See, event square. Anyway, as you can see, there's a circle here, and all of those people are now fungad. Look, Master Typhon, what are you going to do about these hanger-ons? That should put you in your place. Let him have it, Master Typhon. And these people happen to stay on the stage, but as you can see, can move on. We have a red light, which doesn't allow us to move when there is the red light. And we actually might win this one, if we're lucky. We have 2 more snorts to avoid. Oh. Well, this person has already lost, which is why they're able to move. And we did it. And there you go. You also see there is an achievement as well. And we'll just open that up in a second here. Funga. Or, well, WTF Funga. Or WT Funga. Anyway, successfully complete the gate anyway the wind blows. And there is additional ones where you need to complete it 5 times, and I believe also 10 times. And we'll just check that here. Gold Saucer. Yes, right here we have completed 5 times and completed 10 times, and if we have 10 times, then you get the title the Funga. So there you go, and that is the Anyway the Wind Blows. And here we are with the Slice is Right gate. We have a couple of minutes to wait until the gate actually starts. Like with Anyway the Wind Blows, there is a 2-minute, or in this case about 2 minutes, countdown before the gate starts. And stay on the stage at all costs and grab what prizes you can. So my first tip for this gate: stay on the outer ring. Unlike with Anyway the Wind Blows, staying on the outer ring will help you avoid a lot of the AoEs. Do be careful not to fall off the edge though, because if you do, you are done the gate. And during the gate itself, there will be bamboo that shoots up on the sides, and Yojimbo will be slicing them, and we have to avoid the directions that it falls. There will be circular AoEs and line AoEs, and you definitely want to pay attention to where the cut is for the bamboo. It'll be more obvious once we see this. Additionally, there's different stages of the gate. So at one point we have to avoid some bamboo. After that point, there is a smaller piles of 1000 MGP piles of MGP that we have to choose one or several. Where we have to choose one. I don't think you can choose more than one. I've not been daring enough to try. Perhaps you can, but you need to avoid Yojimbo's dog, who will be jumping on those piles. So if you see him heading towards that pile, stop your interaction of that pile and move out of the way, and not into the direction of another pile, because soon Yojimbo's dog will be heading in that direction as well. So I'll give more tips when that occurs, and as you can see, the entries or the stage is now closed. And we can see those little platforms up there, which tells me that the center point is around here, kind of in line with this cactar. So we will stand over here. Our Jimbo is coming down to start slicing the, well, the bamboo. Or at least that's what I'm calling it, because it does look like bamboo. And it's not worth 12. So as we can see, that is where the first bamboo will appear. And there is the bamboo, and we can see a slice here, so this is going to fall in that direction, so we want to stand away from these areas here. And now we have 2 to avoid. This one is going to split in half along with this one, so standing about right here. Ooh, that was very close. I misjudged that one. Over here. Of course, you have these stages in the way. So now we have Jimbo's dog appearing, and we'll have small piles of the 1000 MGP. I tend to stand when there's 2 clusters together or close to each other. I stand in between those 2. And then guess based on those 2 which ones I will interact with. It'll depend on which one he jumps to first. So he is jumping over there, and unfortunately that person's going to be whatever, and I could actually have tried that second one there. Unfortunately not, and that last person is... well, they were lucky. And now we are back to avoiding the different bamboo. And as you can see, I zoomed out. I find it much easier to see that way. Also because I'm small and whatnot. And there's a lot of people still. So when this happens, just stand on the outer side as close as you can, because you will avoid the AoE. And now we have 3. And once again, same deal there. You do have to be careful when there's more than 2 bamboo shoots, because it will get smaller, the area, that is. And now this part is completely RNG. We will have a big pile of MGP, and the dog will, well, be under one of them. You can try following this along if you want, but right at this point it almost becomes impossible, and I don't know if it actually matters if you are able to. It's completely RNG, as far as I know. So, good luck! And if you manage to get past this point, which we'll find out shortly, success! And now we're back to avoiding. So we got additional MGP that time, so yay! And you can see it is avoiding these as well, and now you can see there's 3. Eventually there will be 4. And we need to avoid the 4 at least twice, I believe. So that's the once. And... 1 more to go. And look at that. Perfect run. Fleet of foot and fortune to boot. A well-deserved victory. And you also get achievements for completing it, like with Any Way the Wind Blows. And then this will disappear, and then it'll be complete, and then you can once again talk to the gatekeeper right after. And that is the Slice is Right. And here we are with Air Force 1. Like with Leap of Faith, we have a instanced duty, and thus means we queue for it. It gives you a little explanation in the beginning, so board the Air Force 1, we click yes, and like with Leap of Faith, obviously you will need to unqueue for any duties that you have queued with, but unlike Leap of Faith, this is not a jumping game. As you can see, we are in this kind of this airplane craft type thing, and we have this target bar. Normally your cursor won't be showing, for whatever reason it is right now, and we need to hit these targets, and you can move your mouse however you so choose, or your controller, I assume. And there are different values for the different targets that we hit. Keynote, you will want to avoid hitting one of them. The left cursor shoots, for the record. So the brown are the bronze statues in the Leap of Faith, and this is the target you wish to you should avoid because you will lose points, and there's actually a bonus if you get all of the targets and don't hit any of those. So that's what we're going to be aiming for. There's also achievements for getting a perfect score as well. So the bronze are the lowest with 50, and the blue are worth 100, and then the gold are worth 300. In total, you need to get a score of 5,000, which might seem like a very hard right now, but as soon as you get up to this point, you will have this. And for the record, I am not controlling the path. The path is automatically done, and you want to be careful because there's going to be some of these popping up every once in a while now too. That was lucky. There we go. 3,900, so that means we have 1,100 points left to go. You'll see the little pathway in a moment. The little cubes, very like the Final Fantasy flying and other things like Kingdom Hearts as well. That's what it reminds me of anyways. And we should have another one as soon as we turn, and then a couple more. And there we go, we have 5,000, and now I take my hand away from the mouse so I don't accidentally shoot something else. And now we are completed. We have the 5,000 points, the gate is complete. And the ruby bomb here, as you can see, would be minus 20 points each time you hit it. Final score 5,000. So we got a bonus because we got a perfect score. 6,000, that'll be higher because of the event currently going on. And that is Air Force One. Leap of Faith. Some of my advice for participating in this gate starts from before you actually register for the gate. The first tip: expect a crowd. Unless you're fast enough to register, where you will sometimes be able to get an instance where you are the only player, expect a lot of people. Tip number 2, if you struggle with Leap of Faith because of the crowd, don't queue for the gate immediately. The 10-minute timer starts once you have entered the instance, meaning you could register for the gate within only 10 seconds left of that 10-minute period of registration. This is useful to avoid crowds. And now this will of course depend on your data center and how many players usually participate in this gate. Thus, the time period where you will find less people may not be at the end, it could be at the beginning or midway through, etc. Thus, experiment with this to find the best time for you. Tip number 3. Turn off your UI or user interface. By default, the scroll lock key on your keyboard will turn off the UI. Hitting the same key again will turn the UI back on. The scroll lock key may be labeled as SCRLK on your keyboard. Alternatively, you might actually say scroll lock. I find that turning off the UI gives me less distractions and gives me a larger area of vision to maneuver my character. Tip number 4. Zoom into your character a bit, but not all the way. I find that moving in closer gives me a better visual aid to point my camera in the direction that I need to jump. Which leads me to tip number 5. Use the legacy camera movement if you are not already doing so. This will give you the ability to freely move the camera to a more precise location with the use of your mouse. If you're on console, I'm not sure if this tip will work for you. Tip number 6. You do not need to collect the bronze, silver, and gilded, aka gold, cactars to successfully complete the gate. You only need to reach the endpoint. Thus, if you struggle with jumping, try to reach the endpoint first, and then work on trying to get the bronze, silver, and gilded cactars for additional MGP rewards. Yes, that's right. After you reach the endpoint, you will be able to go back and collect the other trophies. Tip number 7. While this does take a bit of skill in doing, try to focus on the path and the map itself rather than the players. Ignore the players when possible. I know this is much easier said than done. I try to look ahead to see where I need to go and ignore everything else. It also helps when you have a really good idea where your character is on the screen. By default, your character should be centered, thus if you have the center of the camera pointed in the direction of where you need to jump next, you will 99% of the time, leaving that 1% for a margin of error, always be able to make the jump. Of course, that assumes you've used the correct jump. Yes, the correct jump. There are a few different types of jumps. These are also helpful for improving with the Leap of Faith and any of the other jumping things in the game. The Kakani Tower. Here's a brief rundown on the different jumps. A standing jump, where you jump in place without moving in any direction. A one-step jump, where you move one step in any direction and jump. A two-step jump, but not a sprint jump. This will bring you forward a little further than the one-step jump, but not as far as a run jump. A running jump, where you start running in any direction and jump. I also refer to this as a running jump as a long jump. And a sprinting with the ability sprint will take you further than just a running jump. Normally there isn't any reason to use this except for maybe the Kugane Tower. I encourage you to determine how each of these different jumps work, both with the timing of pressing the keys for jumping and movement, while also observing the differences in the distance of each jump. Tip number 8. Knowing that there is a margin of error with jumps. This is mostly referring to the collision detection that is implemented in the game. For example, if I take a look at this block here, while the image of the block itself is the image itself, the collision detection will be detecting just slightly to the left, right, front, and back. Meaning if I angle my camera just slightly left of the block, I will still land on the block, even though visibly you will see my character floating in the air. Thus, if you need to get around tight corners, you can move your character slightly off of wherever you're standing and position the camera to help get around the corner. Or you could aim the camera in such a way that you would land slightly off of the visual representation of the block. There are sometimes some tight corners in some of the Leap of Faith maps that make this type of jump useful. And yes, map. There are several different layouts for the Leap of Faith in both versions that will change each time. You will likely see the same maps after you've participated in them several times, which also makes it easier for learning. Now to actually show these two versions of Leap of Faith. And here we are with the Fall of Belladea version of Leap of Faith. This version is the original version. This area may look familiar to you as you can see it in Thanalin, minus the platforms and players jumping. As I make my way up here, here is a quick demonstration of the collision detection. If I turn the camera slightly to the left, you can see that when I jump, I have landed slightly to the left of the block, and now my character is flying. Anyways, making my way along. Once I've made my way to the platform, I turn the camera to try to locate the gold cactar if it is in fact up on this side, which it is, right there. Now the easiest way I find jumping on these types of planks is by angling the camera, instead of trying to jump on it straight on. After I make my way to the first plank up here, instead of jumping to this next one, I will jump directly to this one. On this plank, make sure to move to the very end of it, otherwise you might miss this next jump. Woohoo! Now I just need to get the silver ones and get to the end. Well, I'll reach the end first and then go get the silver cactars. Once you're up here, you don't actually need to jump down, you can just move forward. Or jump if you want to. Instead, just to make sure, I'll turn on the UI again, and yep, I have all the cactars. Oh, apparently I got an achievement too. I have absolutely no idea what achievement this is. I guess I'll take a look-see after we are loaded again. Oh cool! Apparently I've earned 1,000,000 MGP already. Now I'm curious, how much MGP do I have? Apparently 1.2 million. I didn't expect that. Anyways, that is it for this version of Leap of Faith. And here we are with the Leap of Faith, and this is the Falling City of Nim version. And you can see I got a challenge completion for participating in the gates, and as you can see on the right side here, we have duty information. Gilded cactars, I have 0 of 1. Silver cactars, 0 of 3. Bronze cactars, 0 of 6. And as you can see, there is already quite a few people. And with that, instead of holding the X button to hide their names, I'm just going to turn off my UI. And I am going to zoom in a little bit as we launch ourselves over this way. So this particular Leap of Faith is a little more challenging, as if you fall, as I will not demonstrate right now, but if you fall, you won't die. You will be respawned back over at this location, and then you'll have to start all over. As you can see, as we proceed into and along the path, we will be collecting the different cactar. I call them trophies, because that's honestly what they look like to me. But we'll be collecting these along the way, and there is a lot of back and forth and jumping, so as you can see, I jumped from that location and then back to the spot basically where hello, Mr. Frog. Or Miss Frog. It is not a green frog. Anyway, so you will have to do some back jumping sometimes to the same location, unlike with the other version of Leap of Faith, where it is mostly one directional in that sense. If that makes sense, and if you have already seen that portion, you will know what I mean. Or hopefully you will know what I mean. And then we come to little bridges like this, which are fairly easy to cross. Nice thing about this, you can either jump up, or if you just go like that, you see I just climbed right up. So much easier than jumping, because if you jump too far, you'll miss. And of course I just missed there with my jump because I didn't have the camera pointed correctly. So this is also why I suggest using the legacy camera layout, because it's so much easier to actually turn your camera. Now I don't know how turning the camera works on console, so I don't know if that'll help one way or the other, and I expect that it's already by default in legacy. Possibly. I don't know. I don't even know if that's an option for console, so if somebody knows, please let me know. But anyway, I am totally butchering my jumps here. Normally I don't struggle this much. So, rounding these corners, jumping here, make sure not to hit this, otherwise, as you can see, I missed my jump several times. We'll hop up here, another corner over here, point this direction. Sometimes there will be a trophy there, and there is that little one that you can jump onto, and then here, you might as well just jump right onto this one because it's always distance close enough to be able to reach. And by default, your target will be targeting to the end, so you will know which direction you need to go. If you happen to click off of that, then you will still kind of have an idea. Now we get to an interesting path over here where there's a lot of jumping into very awkward angles. As you could see, someone just fell there. You have to be very careful with these jumps. Otherwise, you'll be back at the very beginning. So basically, take your time. And try not to wear poofy clothing because it makes it very hard for other people to see. But anyway, that was the gate here. And you can see we collected all of them. And just to demonstrate what happens when you jump down, because I can, you will see we will restart at the very beginning. So sometimes that's actually a benefit if you just go right to the end first and you need to collect the trophies still. Then you can just backtrack all the way to the beginning. Instead of having to run all the way, you can just jump down and it'll automatically send you there. And then you can make your way into trying to collect the different trophies. So I am going to make my way to the end again, which shouldn't take too long. Now this particular map pathway doesn't have this option where sometimes the path will give you basically a shortcut so you don't have to make the same jumps, which you would need to if you were collecting the trophies. you would instead just take that little shortcut and it'll speed you up a little faster. Sometimes making those small jumps is harder to do, so sometimes jumping down will also help. I can't show you that because it's unfortunately not in this particular map. This actual map is actually a fairly easy one in my opinion. As you can see, it didn't take me too long once I actually started moving my camera that way. But as you can see, if you did happen to fall down and you didn't need to or didn't want to try to get that gold cacti or silver, depending on if it's on this side or whatever, there is a shortcut right here for you to go up and get this. And then you can either wait inside the gate for the timer to run out, or you can just simply right click, leave the attraction, and then you'll proceed with the gate complete, assuming you actually completed the gate. And then you have your completion bonus of 3,000 MGP for a total of 6,000 MGP. Normally it's 4,000, but with the Make It Rain campaign, which is here until November 20th, it is actually 6,000 because 50% of the 4,000 is 2,000, so 4,000 plus 2,000 is 6,000. Math! Which I don't think any of you cared about. Anyways, that is the A Leap of Faith, the Falling City of Nim version. And that's all the gates. One other nice thing about participating in gates is that there are achievements to earn. All of the gates, except for Cliffhanger, have achievements for participating in the gates themselves. The only achievement that Cliffhanger attributes to is the overall participation in gates achievement. Also worth mentioning, the challenge log has a couple of, well, challenges. By participating in 5 gates, you will be rewarded with 5,000 MGP. If you successfully complete 3 gates, you will be rewarded with 8,000 MGP. And that is the rundown of gates in the Manderville Gold Saucer, and the different things that you can earn by participating in them. My personal favorite gate is the Leap of Faith. I also really like Cliffhanger and The Slice is Right. Basically, I like all of them. Leap of Faith is definitely my favorite one, though. Anyways, that is it for this guide episode. I hope that you found this information helpful, and if you did, please hit that like button. While you're down there, please also consider subscribing if you would like to see more videos like this. That's it for this one. Thanks for watching.